halos is kinda tilted. The foundation is strong because Jehovah built it. You can feel the spirit and positive energy. Questions asked comfortably like you're talking with family. Get ready to settle in. Wait for the show to begin. Invite a couple of friends. It's time for Unhinged.
Introduce to you Get You Home Towing, a family company with the sole purpose to get you home. Whether you need roadside assistance or transport services, we have a flatbed big enough to transport any vehicle to its destination. Our offer to you is our gratitude and great service at a much cheaper price. We are also open to transport through long distances. If you need us, all you have to do is call that number. I'll see you soon.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? I mean, what's really going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. You've tuned into Unhinged Live. I'm your host, Nikita Tilted Halo Hansford, and I'm sitting alongside my good girlfriend, Karen Sims Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC. And you already know what it is. It's Tuesday night, and we've got another barn burner of a show lined up for you on this evening. Let me get you familiarized with what's going to happen on tonight's show. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and say hola, hello. Thank you for tuning in to every last one of our replay viewers who are going to be joining us at a later date and time. We appreciate your support. We thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoy what you see and hear happening here on the platform, go ahead and tell somebody about it. Hit like, hit share. Go on over to the YouTube Nation and subscribe to one of our several affiliate YouTube channels. You know, we are here doing what we love to do just for you week after week, and we are about to get into it. Of course, we're going to have a superfan shout out on this evening. Get into it with a great conversation with tonight's guest. We're going to have, of course, my weekly dose of soul nourishment coming from our very own Coach Cass, our weekly reflections of purpose. And of course, we're going to close it out with the weekly Just Be moment. So let me take it back to the top and say, hey, girl, to my good girlfriend, Karen Sims Harrell, Twisted Threads LLC. Karen, how you doing? What's been going on since the last time we were able to connect?
Well, you know, I had a traumatic moment. And I had to talk to my nail architect about my traumatic moment that I had over the weekend, right? Because shout out to Girl Talk Nails, you know, yeah. And I'm still clacking though. Here's the challenge though. I had to step out on my architect, and then I had to come and not just confess, right? It wasn't a confession. It was I needed her to console me because of the bad experience that I had. And I was like, no, Marisol, you don't understand. Like, you know, they were trying to file down my actual finger. Okay. I'm trying to keep it together, trying to be holiday ready, all of the things, but I promise. So this is the public service announcement. I done already told her, call all your people, tell them the price is going up in 2026, right? So I apologize. I can't help y'all with none of them payments that's about to come. However, you know, Tilted, that I spoil easy, right? And so sometimes we think that the experiences that we have are good, right? Until we get a better experience and then realize it was trash the whole doggone time. Can I just say that? Trash the whole time. So for the last couple of months, right, I have been a repeat customer to Girl Talk Nails, and y'all know Marisol, part of our tribe, and once always, we love her, but the service that she gives, right, the experience that we have when we go and sit in her chair. The rest of y'all got nail techs. We have nail architects. Okay, that's our nail architect. She comes in, you know, this lady asked me, what color do you want? What design do you want? What would you like to do? I don't have to do none of that when I sit in Girl Talk Nail Chair. And so, okay, it's not going to be a whole hour about that. I'm just saying it's been a couple of days. My breathing is back to normal.
Ooh.
I think my blood pressure is back down to
Friend.
where it needs to be. But it was not an experience like the experience that I would like for it to be the experience. And so I called my nail architect. It was like, you better find somebody, because they not down here in North Carolina. Somebody down here in North Carolina that know how to do better than how I just got, right? That's all. And I ain't gonna say more, but I shared it directly with her, Keita. I did share some things with you because you need to know when I'm getting stressed.
I'm here for you, friend. I am so here for you, friend. And, I just want to go ahead and extend to you my apologies for flashing these wonderful.
Oh, no, you didn't!
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I have to do that on this evening to you, friend. But, I feel your pain, even though I have not experienced, what you just recently experienced. I feel your pain because I know how I feel elevated every time I go and have my nails done by our good girlfriend Marisol, Girl Talk Nails. And she brought to life my little Christmas vision.
I love it.
So if I could, give you a healthy slathering of her cuticle oil right now, I would, to bring you comfort, friend. So go ahead if you need to do that right now to help yourself get through the show, provide yourself some comfort. Go on and do that. Go on and do that for yourself, friend. Girl, I feel you. And I know you can hear me because the cuticle oil is always close. I just want to let you know that I'm freezing up here in the Northeast region of the United States. I, almost wanted to take my name back from my child who's been praying for this fluffy white stuff to fall out of the sky. Listen, I'm not ready for it, but I also know that clearly the earth is ready for it because we getting that's right. Go on and soothe yourself, friend. The earth is ready for the moisture, similar to the moisture that your cuticles are requiring right now.
Lord have mercy.
As a result of your nail salon trauma. Oh my goodness, friend. I can't even boast about my wonderful day. You are going through it.
It was bad. That's all I got to say. But I the one solace that I did have after I left, I was like, where in the world is my Girl Talk Nail cuticle oil? And sure enough, in the car, holding back tears, I went ahead and just put the cuticle oil on there because it also, my nails have been growing and they just had a wonderful experience with the Girl Talk Nails. And I don't know what to do. I guess I'm just gonna have to drive to the PA area once a month and get my nails done. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but she's on it. She is on it.
We'll have a conversation off air about that. We'll have a conversation off air about that. But I'm looking at the time, and we have a guest waiting in the green room, and we got to practice some of this good Southern home training that we come to the show with carrying every single week. So I want to go ahead and get into this week's super fan shout out. Mm-hmm. All right. Can we get into that, Karen? Can I get a drum roll, please?
We get into the drum rolls today. Here we go. Let's go.
All right. Lean in close. I got to go ahead and give a super fan shout out to someone who is basically an exceptional human. This time of year, you go down to your mailbox and you go through the bills, and every once in a while, you might run into a delightful Christmas greeting. Well, tonight's Superfan shout out actually showed up in my mailbox all the way from where you hail, North Carolina, Karen. I've got a wonderful Christmas card from Miss Ashley Kalachi. I got to go ahead and give her a super fan shout out on this evening. Shout out to you. Ashley and I made the acquaintance working down yonder at the place that pays me years ago. And recently, she and her family just surprisingly to us up and relocated down to North Carolina. to get a change of scenery and start their life together. And they have a daughter, she and her husband, Pat. They have a little girl. I don't want to give out her name because, no Diddy, and, no Donnie. I'm sorry, I have to go there, but we got to protect the babies out here. All right. I'm not going to give out the name. Okay. But she has always had so much personality, and I always enjoyed the conversations I was having with Ashley about her daughter and encouraging her to keep her involved in dance, just fostering the creativity and the spunky little spirit that you see coming from this little girl. So I got to give you a huge shout out tonight, Ashley, for just dropping all of that joy down at the post office so it could spread throughout the country to whomever you chose to mail that holiday greeting to. It absolutely made my day because I began to consider some of the conversations we've had throughout the years. And I began to consider your hopes and the dreams that you've had for the family you and your husband are building together. So I just want to say, you go, girl. You's a whole queen that decided to leave the Warren County scene and take up roots down in North Carolina, surrounded by the beach and your family. Ashley, you're an exceptionally intelligent human being. You're an excellent wife. You're an excellent mother. You're a shenanigating friend, girl. And I am so glad to say that I know you. Though we are far, far away right now, you never know what the future brings, where you and I might actually be able to take in a sunset together there on that North Carolina beach. This shout out is for you. I look forward to all the great things that you and your family will continue to do in the future, Ashley. Love you, girl. So yeah, you got a super fan shout out this week, Karen. I can't be selfish with the love.
That is a good question. Who I'm shouting out this week? You know what? I am going to be just a tad bit more selfish, right? I'm shouting out my she used to be my middle granddaughter, but now we got too many kids. I don't know what position she is. I'm shouting out Tiara Danae today. Just because she is the truth. She recently celebrated a birthday, and if I'm counting correctly, I think she's 14. But I got the opportunity to spend time with this weekend, and I promise every time I spend time with her, I'm chuckling all the way to anywhere that we are going. But I just love her for the exceptional person that she is, and that she is a no holds bar. She's one of the grands that came with no filter. Okay, let's get this straight. None of my grandchildren came here from heaven with a filter. So whatever line they went in, that was a no filter line. Because if they thinking it, you know it. So shout out to you, Tiara. Every now and then she'll catch the play or the replay. And she usually be like, Mimi, can you shout me out? So there you go, granddaughter. I shouted you out today.
All right. So listen. It's cold outside, and we don't want our guests to get ashy because it's that kind of cold out. Mm-hmm. So listen, I'm so excited to welcome tonight's guest, Karen, and I'm sure you are too, because while you was out yonder there in Texas at the book fair, you made the connection with this exceptional gentleman. So I'm going to toss the mic to you real quick to go ahead and give our guests an intro for the evening. Go ahead,
Absolutely.
sis.
It's going to be short from my side because you know how we love to open the floor to allow our guests to introduce themselves. But we've got Dr. Giani Clarkson, and I had the pleasure of meeting him. And this was another one where Alfred was like, you got to meet. I promise you, my husband was dragging me to every table in that spot. It's like, you got to meet so and so and so, and you need to talk. But I really appreciated meeting Dr. Clarkson because he is an educator, an author, and a person who is bringing his full self to the profession. So we're going to bring him on stage now. Dr.
Clarkson. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? How you all doing?
Doing amazing. So glad that you said yes, and you were one of the first ones. I was in there literally while everybody else walking around talking. I was like, all right, here we go. We're going to get these schedules because we know how tomorrow looks like for a lot of people, right? I'm going to do it tomorrow, and then life is happening. So right away, you said yes, and just appreciate you coming tonight. And so, as I mentioned just a few minutes earlier, this is very specific for a date that you're coming, being an educator yourself, knowing that this kind of when the countdown usually starts for teachers and educators.
Listen, it done started like to the fact of people know in November you going to school for 13 days, then we're gonna eat turkey, and then we're gonna go to school for 15 more days, and then we're gonna open presents. So ain't nobody playing around.
I love it. I love it. So as we had you come in here, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about your origin story, and those who maybe this is their first time meeting you virtually on our Unhinged stage.
No, well, thank you again so much for allowing me to be here. My name is Dr. Giani Clarkson. I hail from the city of Detroit, Michigan. I, of course, lived there and then went from there to Dillard University, where I majored in theater arts and speech communications, and worked in nonprofit for a good little bit. Survived Hurricane Katrina. Actually left 10 hours before Hurricane Katrina hit the city. And it was something that broke my heart because I love New Orleans truly. And then when I got to DC, I started working in nonprofit, and of course realized that journey was coming to an end. And my dad said, "You know what? You should teach." And I went, "Nah, I ain't gonna teach. That's not really what I want to do. I've interned at theaters. I won a regional Tony and all this really cool stuff. I don't want to do any of that." And now we're looking at 15 years later, have won multiple Teacher of the Year awards. At one time thought about walking away from education and found myself writing a goodbye letter to education through a book that I wrote called Teach, Pray, Drink, and decided to step out on faith. Released it on my birthday. It debuted #1 on Amazon, and some 6 awards later for the book. I've been very happy how well it's been received, and it's performed in the top 50 and numerous educational categories for those that are interested in education, for those that really want to know what the hell is going on with education, and for those that are just really kind of weighing the pros and cons of whether or not they want to be here. So that is the book that is, and I am so excited to talk about this book and have a great conversation this evening.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate that part right there.
Yeah.
Now, as I was talking, because every now and then when we have guests, so I'll tell you, Dr. Clarkson, Tilted will act like she's not going to say nothing, but I know she's going to be beaming for this whole as we
I'm here for it.
So I'm just like getting right to it. She already knows I never talk about my best friend behind her back because it's so enjoyable to do it right in front of her face. So this is my
pointless. I'm gonna find out anyway.
I love it.
I'm gonna find out anyway.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's a fact. So can you give us a little bit like an elevator speech for Teach, Pray, Drink, and what's the heart of this book?
So the book is called Teach, Pray, Drink, Watering and Harvesting the Roses from the Concrete. And it is everything that you want to know about what's going on in urban education. A lot of people are sugarcoating it, but let's be honest, across the country, there are a number of schools that are not opening up with schools being fully staffed. And why is that? It's because people are walking away from education at a rate that is insane. So either you teach, pray, or drink, and sometimes I did all three. And what we're realizing that even if you do all three, it's not solving the educational gap that's happening in urban communities. So I talk real honest about it, why it's happening, what's going on, what's bad, what's good. And each chapter opens up with a Bible verse, a really great playlist because I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s. I love some really great music, and a drink recipe because let's be honest, happy hours is where a lot of teachers decide to talk and solve all the problems of the world. But underlying, there's something very peculiar happening with teachers. And what I mean by that is that inside of our profession, where there used to be a time where who led in alcoholism was, of course, lawyers and doctors and some members of various branches of the military. Now we're seeing more and more that teachers are climbing up the list as being a profession with the highest number of cases of alcoholism. And that's bad. Do you want your kids being taught by someone that's self-medicating like that? And sometimes, to tell the truth and shame the devil, it's not just coffee in that cup. It's just not coffee in that cup. And that's scary. That's scary. So this is what the book's about.
I appreciate it. So
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Tilton.
No, I'm saying, you're absolutely correct in saying that. I have to share from my bag of experience in the education field. When I was working as an admin assistant at a special ed high school, the students had a field trip that day, and part of my job was checking in the bus driver for whichever trip or what have you. And I smelled alcohol on the bus driver's breath. Yep. And I had a decision to make, because I was like, listen, it's 100 of my babies about to get on this bus, and they're expecting to have the time of their lives today. So I politely called the principal, let him know what was getting ready to happen. And that I was going to be requesting a different bus with a different driver. I said a prayer for the gentleman, because I'm like, what did the girl say? You about to lose your job.
Right,
sir,
absolutely.
You do not have the right to put these babies who we are entrusted with every single day in danger, because as you so eloquently put it, Dr. Giani, you out here self-medicating through whatever you're going through in life.
Right.
Don't bring that to our children.
Yeah.
They fight through enough some days to just get to the classroom. But allow me to digress.
No, and that's a great point that you're bringing up. Go ahead, Karen. I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead, Doctor.
No, I was going to say that's a great point that you're bringing up. Yeah, because this is a job that's supposed to bring joy. You're supposed to be bringing joy to others. But what's happening inside of our classroom, where teachers are finding that I can't get through the day without doing this, and then to the point that teachers are quitting at such a high rate. I had to deal with something that kind of broke my heart, but I had to understand the reason why. When my son graduated from high school, of course, the presenter did the typical, how many lawyers do we have in the building? Kids raise their hand. How many doctors do we have in the building? Kids raise their hand. How many social media influencers? Because that's the newest thing. And kids raise their hand. And then she said, well, how many teachers do we have in the building? And not one kid raised their hand. And I was okay with that, until my son looked me dead in the eye with all his honors cords on, and went and did this. And we sat there and laughed about it at the lunch. And when I was so proud of my son, and he said, Dad, I have no interest in being an educator. And I said, well, why? He said, I see what you go through, and I want no parts of it. And he's got a front row seat. Right. Looking at it. So those are things that we got to talk about, and we got to be very honest about why is that happening to so many great educators and why they're leaving the profession.
I really, really love that. And, as we dig some more into the book, and as you mentioned, I think I knew the title. I knew that the title was literal. There is something different when you go from the title to experiencing the book. And we do go through the scripture, and we do go through the cocktail recipe.
Yes. Oh yeah. I'm hands-on on that cocktail recipe. I'm gonna tell you what how much, the measurements, everything else, and the reason why. And I even do little drinking instructions, like, hey, you want to drink slow here, and this is the reason why. But part of it is, and this is just part of the Black experience, we can't sometimes have difficult conversations with a little bit of humor and them shot glasses coming out. Sober thoughts, sober conversations. We have to have those at times, because listen, that's the only way we sometimes get to the truth. And that's sad, but I'm very honest about that pathway.
I love it. I love it. And I promise, to our drinking saints, to our cussing 3 days a week saints, to our cussing every day saints. Listen, all are welcome here at the
Yeah.
Unhinged. And it brought about, a realness to the conversation points that your book is definitely bringing out. Of there's some challenges that are facing, and I'll admit it, as a parent, some of the stories, I don't even want to call them stories, but your accounts, right,
Right.
were very difficult to hear. Because I want to fight somebody. Like, what
Right.
you mean? We graduate. I love the chapter. Okay, so I admit, Dr. Giani, I could be or could have been one of those aunties, never the mother. I believe in the accountability, but Tilted, there's a chapter that talks about a student, and the student is failing, and the aunties come up and they like, y'all going, and I just imagine this in my head because I'm very theatrical. We are both,
Right.
not just drama queens, but we stay on the stage somewhere, Tilted and I. I imagine this in my head, Giani, in the sense of, I'm the auntie. Y'all gonna graduate my baby. I don't know what this is, right? But I gotta ask the question as one of
Your
the
earrings
aunties.
coming off, Vaseline come out, you slicking your face.
I
down.
done already came in the sneakers, right? They're gonna be bling because I'm giving rich auntie vibes. But
Right.
we gonna stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. That's our motto over here. How's it ever? I was very angry as a parent for, I'm just gonna say it like this, we keep it real, the injustice that was done to the young person, in the respect of not having to be held accountable, and not having to walk through the consequence of bad decisions, right?
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the part for me. The part in your book where you started talking about the students, like saying, now we know homeboy ain't doing no work. Why am I supposed to do work? And how do you level those conversations with realness to keep the on track kids on track, right? And to make sure that they don't lose their motivation for keeping to push forward. And right, like, if playing in my face was a person, that was the only thing that came to my mind.
So I say this all the time. Everyone thinks they're an expert in education because we all went through it, right? It's kind of like, I don't know why they teaching it like that. Because when I was in school, Miss Such and Such taught it like this way. Miss and Mr. Such and Such is dead and gone. Okay. We done had all these evolutions in education, and you talking about a practice that existed some 20 years ago. That doesn't mean that we discredit your experience, but you and this child are not the same. There are similarities, but y'all are not the same. What the big issue that we have right now is really teaching kids about accountability. And then we realize that we have parents that don't understand accountability. So a lot of times when I'm talking to first year teachers, I say, don't worry. You've met the apple. The tree is around the corner. The tree gonna show up at parent teacher conference. I don't know why such and such. I don't know why this kid act that way. Just wait. Tree around the corner. And that's not an indictment of calling these parents bad people. I say this all the time to teachers. That parent is raising the best child that they know how to raise. There's tons of books on parenting, tons of books. Ooh. But trust me, if George and Glendale Clarkson could have picked up a book that said how to raise Giani Clarkson, they would have read it cover to cover and still would have made mistakes. because every child is different, right? So we have to find ourselves teaching accountability a lot of time to not just parents, but to kids, but just the parents as well too. Even so much to this point, I've often told my students, if you think you don't like me, wait till you meet your first boss. You think
Okay.
you think you think I'm the problem? Wait till you meet your first boss.
I like
Your
that.
first boss, your first boss gonna look at you and I'm just holding grades above your head.
Mm,
Your first boss gonna make sure whether or not that light gonna turn on at your house,
come on
whether
now.
that water gonna run. You gonna go out on a date to
If you
go
go
pick up the
have a
little.
house, let's go there.
You gonna have a house, right? You gonna get ready to go out on a date to pick up the little cutie, and you gonna realize, oh Lord, someone has stole my car. You gonna realize the repo man did it. But anyway, we gonna leave.
Keeping it real though.
But you know,
Keeping
but
it
we
real.
but we have to prepare our kids for
Yes,
real life, because real life is about accountability and understanding when you do make a mistake, what's all at stake for that. So
I love
um
it. I love it.
that's what we're getting to. That's the grand tax we're getting to.
I love it. So, just to share a little bit about my background. So, Dr. Gianni, I have my master's degree in educational leadership. And
Yay.
and the thing that, oh man, blew my mind. I had gone through the system as a parent, and I'm a different type of parent. I'm telling them,
Mhm.
I'm the one that told the teachers, don't play with this kid. Like, because if you give him an inch, they'll never find your body. Like, these are
Mhm.
real conversations that I had with teachers. Like, please listen to me when I tell you the first time you see something wrong, don't give oh well, the next time we're going, they don't care nothing about that, right? Call me in right away. But if you call me in May when you should have been calling me in September, you on your own, sister. You on your own, brother.
Yeah.
When I got into the studies, what I found was there lacked an accountability for the parents. It was,
Yeah.
I can sue the school because my kid didn't learn, right?
Yeah.
But where's the accountability for me as a parent to say, Johnny, you gonna do your homework. I don't care if we gotta do it by candlelight, right? Because
Right.
we understand that challenges are happening in people's homes, but how is this where the state of education? I promise you, that was literally 10 years ago.
Right.
To know that that's still that thing now of, if we could just hold, and I don't even want to say hold parents accountable, if we could get parents to understand that educating their children should be a partnership, the same way we talk about co-parenting. If the parent is, if both parents are not in the home, these are
Right.
the teachers, because y'all are co-parents. Can we just say
Right.
that? Can we talk about
Yeah.
that part right there? Y'all are helping to shape and raise these children, just like extended family would be doing, if they had the access and the capability. So I want to hear your thoughts just a little bit about your adopted children, because y'all got
Right.
them. I know how
Right.
that is, and what you might think are some of the best ways to create partnership with parents.
So this is a really great question. I always say, where does accountability go when nobody wants to take it? Where does it go?
Yeah.
Because like when there's something bad that happens, someone's got to take accountability for it, right? What's happening to teachers inside of like the school system or just across the country is that accountability is landing on the backs of teachers. If
Mm,
you're a teacher and you think that you're just going to go to school to just teach, you are so wrong. You are a counselor, you're a mentor. Sometimes you are the extended member of the family. Sometimes you are a mental health coach, and all of these additional responsibilities start to weigh on a teacher. And finally, a teacher looks at their job description and go, "Nah, I ain't sign up for this. This ain't what I paid for. This is not what I want. This is not what I signed up. I'm disinterested in it." And then I think about my career in education. I've literally gone out to reach out to community centers, to churches to get additional support for my students. And in turn, I've gotten, well, we don't serve those type of people because we don't like their lifestyle. We don't serve those type of people because they don't code to our church. Well, if your school was interested in giving a donation to our church, then we would help the kids in your community. Now, I don't know what part of the Bible that they're reading from, but that sounds kind of peculiar. It appears to me. I think it's from Thessalonians. But
Not.
anyway, don't do that. Don't do that right now. That's not a real book. My bad. I can name all 66 of them, but that sounds like Thessalonians.
That's a book.
Okay, so anyway,
I got the copy in the closet.
okay, yeah, because that sounds like from Thessalonians. But anyway, I don't want to get into a whole conversation about black church and black betrayal. But anyway, we'll be careful. We'll be careful. I'll be nice. But what happens is that level of accountability becomes a problem. So what do you do as a teacher, right? You have to be very smart in your open house introduction to kids into your community. And what I mean by that is this. And this is just great advice for first year teachers or all teachers. The first time that a parent hears from you should not be when something is going wrong. You need to introduce a sunshine call. Hey, my name is Dr. Clarkson. I'm really excited about working with you and your family and helping, he or she or they raise, operate inside of our school community. Tell me some things about your child. What makes your child special? And I'm going to tell you this much. Those conversations last for an hour. And it's so great because you know what you've done? You've let that parent know ahead of time, I think your child is special. And guess what? Now I've heard why you think that child is special. And I've also heard what are the goals that you have for your child and how do I reach your child? And last but most importantly, I've gotten a clean scouting report on your child. I know why your child was successful last year, why they weren't successful last year. I know their triggers. I know how to push them, and I'm all heads up about it. Because see, that's what you should be doing as a teacher. You need to get a very clean scouting report of who's in your classroom. Like more so, that old black phrase, who all gonna be there? Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. Who all gonna be there? I got you first period. Who all gonna be there? Who's sitting in my room? What have you dealt with? Have you seen a parent being incarcerated in front of you? Is someone in your family recovering X, Y, and Z? Are you a family that's in transit and moving from residence to residence? These are things I need to know because on days when I'm really about to go off on somebody and be like, why ain't you have my homework? I can go, you know what? Be careful here, Giani. That child may not have had lights that day, or that child is in between houses. You want to offer grace because that's part of it, but you also want to be very wise about the grace that you're offering and be smart about it. Because then again, parents and communities take the time to go, you know what, that's a teacher we need to protect. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely something I think is how to answer your question. That's what I think that's all about.
I love that. I appreciate just the candidness of it. And we tell y'all all the time, grab your passports. Because you never know what nuggets are going and where we go conversations, right? We never know where these conversations are going to go. But you are lightly you're giving those snow dustings of so parents can do something with, right? Because here's the deal, and I'm sure you've had this conversation. By the end of the year, parents sometimes are also frustrated, and it's like, well, what can I do? I'm at my wit's end. Well, if you have the doggone conversation at the beginning of the year,
right,
kind of eliminate. That's what I'm hearing from you, right? Eliminate
right.
of the obstacles that, even though, and poor little Johnny, because that's the name I'm picking up tonight. So I probably all the little Johnnies. I'm really not picking on you,
right.
Come on up, step up. But with all of that, little Johnny thinking like, I'm just coming here to do the best that I can. But having that conversation puts them at a better place. And also as a parent that has received those type of calls, I promise you, like, to receive that as a parent and know, one, it lets parents put their guard down, because a lot of times we often think of the teachers as if you also are the principal, the administrators / that pipeline. Okay, so we're going to treat you this type of way because we have a correlation of what y'all doing with my baby. Not so much that you are protecting them and trying to mold them and train them up, but a lot of parents think teachers are the same as the police. right? And so in their mind, they'll treat you in that particular way as if you're holding their child with a particular light. And I know it because I once was there. Like maybe all y'all, that ain't y'all testimony, right? But if
Right.
got a mindset of it's us against the world, or however people might be thinking that, and even one parent households, whether it's the mom as the head of the household or the dad, we have a lot
Right.
of one parent household. And so how are those conversations? And you specifically said about urban education, right? And all of the transformations that it's seen over the years. So I gotta put my tilted hat on, and tilted is gonna know in a minute, right? So my next question with my tilted hat on is, after a long day, what might be your favorite drink or cocktail?
You know what? It really depends. Sometimes it's just water and reflection. Um, my success has come with falling in love with the boring. And what I mean by that is that I feel like if you're going to be successful, you got to be married to boring. You got to be willing to have a routine. I listen to the playback of me teaching. I probably listen to my voice more so than anything. Did I give enough wait time with this question? Was that clear? Um, you didn't really answer that student's question. And I
Mm,
listen to these things driving home because I'm always trying to chase perfection. That does not mean that I'll ever catch it, but boy, perfection gonna feel like I'm close a lot of times. And that's kind of what I do to wind down. Now, overall, I'm always going to go with a good old fashioned,
okay.
or um, my other favorite drink is a solid Paloma. Like I love a Paloma. And if it's, sometimes I just need to just drink it neat. I'm not giving no one any product shots up
That
here
part, that
because,
part.
but I enjoy brown liquor above everything. So that's what I'm just gonna leave that there because until we see a check from any of these companies that are
That
featured on
part.
my bar, we just gonna say brown liquor. But
Brown liquor. Brown liquor. I love it. I love it. All
yeah,
right. My next question is this: if your students wrote your biography, what would the title be?
boy, he cares. And I mean, honestly, they probably say a bad word first, but
Right?
but my students know that I care. That's one thing they say all the time, like, Doc, you really care. And yeah, hell yeah, I care. And I care because I'm very cognizant, and I tell them I'm very cognizant of the monster outside of this classroom. And there's just part of the world that is not interested in you being successful. They're not interested in your dreams. They're trying to make sure that they keep you underneath a thumb. I'm very very honest with my fellas. I tell them, this is the last time you'll ever be in a classroom with this many guys. Black men are disappearing from college. My son is currently a junior at Bowie State, and they have literally taken a whole dorm that was a male dorm, and it's now been converted to an all women's dorm.
Mm,
What is that saying about where our black men are going? Meanwhile, black women continue to be one of the highest educated sexes and races in our country, and they leaving us behind. Like they're literally leaving us behind. My son, when he walks into the lunchroom, he sits and he realizes it's nothing but tables full of young ladies. That was my testimony going to Dillard University. And of course, being an 18-year-old, hey, I was like, oh, this hooray, I love all this. But look at me, come on now, let me be honest here.
up.
Let me be honest here, okay? It's a table full of women. I'm like, oh, this is great. But as I'm older, I'm going, this is bad. This is an indictment of what's happening. And then when I think about friends that I made who wind up not finishing, a good majority of them are men, not women.
Mm,
I care. I do. God, I care. And I care because I understand about what community building should really look like. And I'm
yeah.
so concerned about the build out of wealth, of power, of political prowess. And I just often feel that if we don't get this solved, worse things are on the horizon. So I have to care. And I care in how I show up for my kids. This week not so much because it's holiday season, but I'm always suit and tie with Jordans. And I'm always prepared. I try to provide my students with really wise out of classroom experiences. I have a program called Kicking It with Clarkson where I invite guest speakers in to talk about their experiences. I've found myself in very interesting places in these 15 years.
Love it.
I've paid utility bills to make sure that kids, don't look at their mom a certain type of way. Hell, a group of a group of former teachers, and I can say this because pick the school that happened at, we paid off a neighborhood drug dealer to leave a boy alone. I care. And I understand that, like, I when parents send their children off to school, I want to make sure they come back to their houses a lot better. And if I don't do that, then I'm failing at my job. And that's why I care.
One, that's an amazing.
Love it.
You
Love it. Love it. I'm so here for it. And so, from my experience in education throughout the years, one thing I've discovered when I've encountered educators like yourself, Dr. Clarkson, I've discovered that people like you that make sure that they carry their light big and bright into every room they go in when educating our children. Y'all some people with some huge heavy faith. Or at least I know that was my thing.
Yes.
Everybody knew when they came into my office, you're going to have an encounter with Keita and Christ. I don't know
That's
what
fair.
you expect here. So I have to ask you, how has your faith shaped the way you lead, teach, and pour into your students?
Ooh, it has been a roller coaster with loops, turns, and drops. But I ain't getting off the roller coaster. And literally, that's kind of what the book is about, is that there was a moment where I was like, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm tired. I feel indicted a lot of times by administration that do not care as much as I do. And that's problematic for me. I want the best for these kids. And I feel like I'm consistently running my head against a wall. In chapter 1, I talk about this. It's the story of Sisyphus, right? For people that are not familiar, that there's a king that's been banished to pushing a boulder up a hill every day. And he must push this boulder up the hill, knowing there's a possibility that this boulder may roll back down and might crush him, but he has to get back up and do it again. My faith allows me to get back up and push that boulder up the hill. I may push that boulder up the hill and that kid goes to college. I may push that boulder up the hill and that kid winds up dying due to an act of violence. Unfortunately, every year that I've taught, I've been teaching for 15 years, I've lost a kid to an act of violence, whether it be a kid that was currently in my classroom or a kid that was once in my classroom. And in fact, it's opened up a study that I'm looking into doing, which is dark, but needs to be talked about. And I'll scare us for a little bit, but I'll come back and be nice, called the 666 rule, which is 6 years after graduating in a 6-mile radius from the school that a kid will wind up getting either a sentence that'll be 6+ years or dying.
Wow.
And I mean, that's a real thing. Like literally the hub of where you were educated at. 6 years after you left this building, you will either do something that will get you a sentence of 6+ years or no longer be on this side of heaven. That's something we've got to solve as a community, right?
Yeah.
We definitely got to solve that as a community, because we push them across the stage and we like, you gonna do it and you gonna make it, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there dressed in all black.
Yeah.
Or you're reading it on the news and you realize, can you push that boulder back up the hill?
Yeah.
These are the possibilities. And that's what the book is about. If you're uncomfortable with potentially losing, you probably shouldn't teach. And I credit my father for telling me this a long time ago, probably year 4. I would have bad summers. Man, I'd have bad summers. I would be so depressed. This kid failed. I can't believe this kid failed. And what could I have done more? And I could have done this and done this. And finally, my dad had to tap me on the shoulder and be like, Gianni, there's nothing else you could have done. You've done everything. You showed up every day. You was in professional dress. You offered awards. You offered prizes. You drove kids home. Like, what else can you do? But that's that albatross that you carry around your neck as a black educator, because you want these kids to be successful. You want our kids to be successful so badly, and that it's that care factor. And if you don't care, you just shouldn't do it. Like, I get it. Having your summers off is sexy. You got 2 weeks off for Christmas. I get it. It's sexy. Federal holidays. I get it. That junk is hot for you. But hey, teaching is the only profession where we market the time off more than will you have an impact on the kid.
That's true. That is true. Come over here so you can get the summers off. That is,
yeah. And then we do it as this really cute throwaway too. Like, if ain't nothing you can do, you can always teach. Like, think about that. We get the people that don't want to teach no damn way.
And you're coming over here,
and you come over, and you like the definition of playing in my face. I'm up here writing lesson plans, and I got a guest speaker coming, and we going on this field trip, and you up there like, Clarkson, we got only a couple of days left before Thanksgiving break. Can you calm down? It's just September. Relax. Can we get to an Indigenous People Day? Can we get to a Veterans Day? It's August and you already got turkey in your mouth. Calm down.
They're already there. They already there.
Calm down.
Listen,
what?
Love our educators. We understand the job is hard, and I promise you, that's one of the things that a lot of people will say, like, you could be taught on the job, right? On the job training.
Right.
I'm not that
right.
one. I'm not that one. One, because also I believe in yoking up kids, so that ain't the place for me to be.
Listen. That ministry.
Those take over.
that ministry does not exist anymore.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Because trust me, we are all mandated reporters. However, you got to pray that yoking up spirit out your body. Even though you may want to do it, there are ways to do it verbally.
I love it.
There's ways to get parents involved that you've gotten on your side to be the heavies, so they do it for you, and that's what you want anyway. Because it's like you want to play that game of, hey, if you late to my class one more time, you know who I'm gonna call. Oh, Doc, come on, man, don't do this. Don't do this.
I love
they shaking their head like a villain at the end of a movie. Come on, man, they ain't gotta be this way. You ain't got
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now I gotta ask you, how do you feel like you balance the discipline, the compassion, as well as putting in the culture in the way that you teach in today's classroom?
One, and this is the number one rule. I say this for admin and I say this for teachers. Don't you dare walk around that building believing that you're an angel, because they'll expose you as the devil. I repeat, because someone needs to hear this right now, right? Don't you dare walk around this building masquerading, cosplaying as an angel, because they'll expose you as the devil. I try to operate all situations as a saint. And what I mean by this is that I've done good, I've done bad, I've learned lessons, and these are the lessons I'm going to give to you. I've done good, I've done bad. These are lessons that I've learned, and I'm going to give them to you. I'm not going to gatekeep my experiences or my failures so that I always look good in front of you. My students talk to me about this a lot. They go, man, you talk a lot about the times that you failed. And I go, why not? They exist. Y'all think I got here because I was perfect? No, I got here because I failed. And that's also part of the concern with like our kids. Our kids are so afraid to take chances because they're so afraid to fail. Everything that they do is documented on social media. So they don't dance at parties, they don't call girls don't call guys, and the beat goes on. So for me, I feel like by admitting my failures and sitting in them, that's how I'm being able to be successful. Hell, today, this is probably this is actually something that actually did happen. Planned a whole field trip, I failed to do something. And I immediately told my executive director, hey, that's on me. I got to stand up and take that responsibility, because if I don't, then I'm going to be masquerading like I'm perfect. And that's bad, because you mess up.
Right.
And at the grand scheme of things, when I can go back and go to meetings and say, hey, that was my fault, I have to own that. And if I made someone feel uncomfortable based off of my mistake, I got to own that. And in turn, what happens is that your community becomes a little bit more endeared to you. Not because you was perfect, it was because you had accountability, which goes back to that's called that callback, which goes back to the beginning of our conversation of why do we have the issues we have with parents. We're just so afraid of accountability. We're so afraid to say, I'm sorry. We're so afraid to bend the knee, apologize. I had to apologize to a young lady because I graded her paper a 0. She said, Doc, I turned that in. And I was like, no, you did. My bad, baby. She was like, Doc, it's okay. And I love that, because what happened is she's going to remember from that conversation, not the fact that I gave her a 0, but because I was an adult that apologized. You know how many adults don't apologize to kids?
Come on now.
Preach.
Come on now.
You know how many adults don't apologize
You
to
could
kids?
do a whole segment on that.
And wonder why these
It's
kids
so
hate
important.
you so. These kids hate you so, and you, that's the reason why. Because you out here being a stone cold maniac. you a Tasmanian devil walking around yelling, and you don't apologize for nothing. And then when all of a sudden you want sympathy, there's the cupboard's bare. The cupboard's bare. So I grew up with this phrase. It goes, life is a mirror of a king and a slave. It's just what you are and do. So give to the world the best that you have, and the best will come back to you. You have to be a king of your emotions. Can you control your emotions?
That's
like,
good.
you gotta be a king of your emotions. Where's your stewardship in your emotions? A kid says something crazy to you and you off your rocker. Ain't you the professional in the room? Never mind. Let me be quiet. I'm making somebody mad. I'm gonna make somebody mad. Let me be quiet.
Love it.
Listen, I mean, you took us to church. I need my church fan. Hold up.
Y'all stop that. No, but I'm serious though. Like, where's the moment where you say, I'm the adult in the building, I'm the adult in the room? You out here getting into a whole cussing battle with a kid. What's the old phrase goes, you wrestle a pig in the mud, it's hard to find a pig.
Come on now. Come on.
I don't know.
No, but that's a big deal, when we're thinking about what needs to happen, right? And so for years and years, and I'm sure all of the time you've been in education, we've heard about reform in education and
right.
And you've hit so many of those nuggets in just this conversation this evening. And many of them show up in your book, right? They show up in the conversations that need to have. They show up in, as you talked about, the accountability. I wonder, as I was kind of getting into the book, the thought was, for me, just, has writing this book changed the way you teach, or what I would say, what do you think the impact has been to you for you writing this book? And it sounds like it's more to come, so maybe a series, something else. I don't know.
Oh, the money. I know. I wrote this book for the money. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Listen, you will have some kids signing up for a writing program tomorrow.
No, I'm joking. What it did was it freed me and it forgave me. Like, I really was very angry in my last school community. And it was because I consistently felt like things weren't making sense. And for smart people, things have to make sense. Like, and when they don't make sense and you're compromising things at the cost of children, it doesn't make sense. And then you don't get to say, well, it's for the kids, because everybody in the room is smart and it's not making sense. So, like I said, I wrote this book very much so with this idea of it being a goodbye letter. Like, y'all can have it. I'm done. I'm tired. I can't. What else can I do? Y'all have taken up 1/4 of my life with this profession, and it's insane. And I don't want any part of it anymore, right? But after I read it back in transcript, I went, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to teach again. And it immediately was like, yeah, I felt like I was back at year one, but with 13 plus some years worth of talent behind it. And it's like this joy that I found back into it. Amount of times I laugh in the course of the day, how much I enjoy teaching my AP class. I'm inside of a really smart school community with some really smart people. And they're not just smart, but they have big hearts. That matches, right? And that's what you want. You want intelligence and you want people who care. So those things match up perfectly, right? And we have good kids. And not all the kids are perfect because that's just life. And not all the parents are perfect, but that's just life. But what the book has done is that it freed me, gave me back my joy, and it allowed me to forgive myself and other people. Like and for the longest, it was like, I can't believe, almost said a name, and then we'd have to beep this part out. Oh no, but it did. It forgave me. It forgave me from a lot of people, and it's great because I realized that God's not finished working on them. Everybody that's in leadership isn't perfect, and you gotta just take people where they are. You can take people where they are, but they're not allowed to take you.
Come on now.
Right. So that's part of what I had to do is like, yeah, I'm gonna leave you where you are, but you can't take me with you. I gotta go. I'm gonna leave you right here. And when God's ready to solve that, or whoever you pray to, right, is ready to solve that, I wish them luck. And that doesn't mean that I walked away from there being once again an angel, but I walked away from there being a saint. And when I talk to first year teachers, I can give to them, in the words of the brilliant philosopher Kenny Rogers, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Never count your money sitting at the table. There'll be time for that when the deal is done. Don't sit up there and stay at a teaching profession don't stay at a school counting your money, because you're going to wind up counting your money at a very sad table. There'll be time for that when the deal is done. Get out of there. And I can honestly say, leaving happier, bank account happier. Life is good.
Sometimes that's what it is.
In that order.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. So you hinted a little bit about maybe a sequel, maybe a series.
No, I didn't. I didn't hint it.
You didn't say that.
No.
I heard Okay, you cannot discredit what I heard, Dr.
Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot discredit
I
what
heard it
you
too.
heard. That is
What
fair.
I
That is fair.
heard was there may be some more writing in your future. I love the transparency of, you know, we're teasing and everything, but I can honestly say I thought it was well written. I thought that
Thank you.
the humor in it is needed, like, because
Thank you.
some of this stuff and the topics, you know, and the chapters, they were heavy. Like, they were heavy. There is nothing that we could say to be like, oh, well, we could make this a little bit lighter. No, you cannot. You cannot.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, walk children through their first funerals, right? And or funerals for people who they know. And that's one of the topics that you talk about. But knowing that these are the things that you continue to carry, because it's not like you could put
Yeah.
down. There's no, you know, no book return that you could say, all right, I'm done with these memories. I'm done with these experiences. Now,
Right.
you know, let me get the sprinkles and the glitter, or however it needs to happen. And so these have informed who you are as a person, but they also inform and from what we're hearing, the way that you teach, the reason why you care
Yeah.
about what it is. And one of the things I want to highlight was I'm gonna call it a battle, maybe a struggle. You could decide to put it
Sure.
for it, but it's the battle that you have as a teacher with children, where you trying to raise your own kids, right? That need to be, and the one recollection was the getting out of school, your son getting out of school early.
Yeah.
You know, being able to spend time with him, but knowing that there's so many people that that are having to choose and figure out how to balance of, I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I got my own kids, but I also am mothering and parenting and fathering these school children that I'm with from 8 to 3 or whatever the school time is now.
Right.
But those type of things. Can you talk to just a little bit about that? I know you said your son is in college now, so
Right.
you're on the other side of that. But
I
while
am.
you're in it, yeah, what was that for you?
When I was in it, it honestly made me sad a lot because I knew that I had a start time that was 7:40 p.m. or I'm sorry, 7:40 a.m. and my son had to be at school around 8 or so. So how did I balance getting him here and me getting there, and you know, my son's mother and of course my parents were very instrumental in really helping him to get to school. There were times that I had to balance, you know, my own finances to make sure that there was a shuttle that took him to aftercare. And literally, I'm seeing parts of my check disappear because I just don't have the freedom to pick up and go. And then, of course, you know, when he was a lot younger, our spring breaks and winter breaks wouldn't match, but yet, you know, I still had to manage those things. You know, parenting as an educator is very difficult. It's something we don't really talk about a lot because I always say that teachers, for some people, exist only at the schoolhouse. You know, remember when you were little, and I think comedians tell this joke all the time. Remember you were little and you see a teacher walking around the grocery store with their own family. It's like, what you doing outside?
Right.
You got a family? Wait a minute, somebody married you and had kids with you? Why you dressed like that? What's going on? Why you at the movies? You like movies? When you start liking movies? Because you don't think, right? Because you don't think as teachers as real people,
Right.
But that's part the teacher's fault. You know, I very much so operate as a real person in front of my kids, which goes back to that saint mentality. What you doing this weekend? I'm hanging out with my friends. We going here. We going to the game. We might watch the game at the bar. You go to the bar? Yes. I'm grown. Get out of my business.
That part.
You know, where you going? I'm getting on a plane. I'm going on a trip. Who you know in New York? I know people. What? You know people? And then but once again, we've dehumanized teachers to this one shell as a community that we don't think they're real.
Right.
You know, that's why I'm gonna go ahead and drop this. we dehumanize teachers to a point that we don't think they're real and we don't think their feelings are real.
Yeah.
That's the reason why when a teacher goes off on a kid or a teacher is fighting back against a kid in a violent situation, we will go, well, they shouldn't be doing it. They're a teacher. Wait a minute now. Their mama and daddy didn't have a teacher. They had a person.
Right.
Okay. Teaching is their profession,
Passion.
but they somebody mother, father, son, daughter, husband, wife. You can't do all that. You can't operate like that. But that's how we um process this vision of the teacher, and that's bad. And that's why I try to once again humanize myself.
Right.
I'll say this: teachers inside of my school community, we are very human. We're very human with our students, and I think because we are humans, are very human with our students offer us grace, and in turn, we offer them grace back, and we have a very healthy relationship. I think that should be the model of how teachers and students should interact with one another. Get off that pedestal, because when they find out something, they come with a sledgehammer, and that fall gonna be hard.
Mm.
Get off that pedestal. Get
Mhm.
off that pedestal. Seriously.
This is something. I appreciate just this conversation. Okay, so I'm gonna give you this. Finish this sentence. If
Sure.
if teachers had what they truly needed, schools would take it away.
Be packed. They be packed. This is a very scary thing that's happening across the country. Attendance is terrible. I mean, attendance is really bad. Um, there are kids that do not come to school at all. And when they do come, they know how to game the system so well that they know about the clock. And I don't know if you all are familiar with the clocks. I'll share it with the audience. No matter what state or city that you're in, students know there's a certain number of days they can miss before Child Protective Services contact the parents. So let's say hypothetically in city X, the number of days is 20, right? They've been absent 19 consecutive days. And guess what happens on day 20? They show up. That means that clock resets.
All
And
over.
then on day 21, they'll set up. And then on day 22, they disappear and we play the game all over again.
Mhm.
We really need resources inside of schools that teachers can use to give kids a world-class education. And that's what's really happening is that we're teaching citizens, but we need to make them competitive on a global market. And the more resources we have, the more they can be competitive in a global market, and they can explore professions that they've never even thought about. That's what we really need is we need resources. Schools are battling for resources left and right. Um, and the better the resource is inside of a school community, the more than likely a teacher is wanting to teach inside of that building. Now, for me, I've gone out of my way because of my nonprofit background to go after resources consistently. And I leverage my relationships. I'm a board member at Ford's Theater. I know a series of nonprofits in the city that offer things. I leverage my relationship with my fraternity, with my chapter, both my undergrad and graduate chapter, to bring resources into the building. But yeah, these resources change the trajectory of scholars and whether or not they decide to attend college or start their professional career. Those things are important. So, yeah, if we had money, the schools would be packed. And not just resources, but also giving some teachers the proper training that they need.
Mhm.
A lot of teachers have come into school and they done read, certain books. I won't mention that book because I don't think that book is good. I will mention my book, which I think is good. But there's a certain book that everyone gives first year teachers, and it doesn't help you teach like a champion, respectfully. If those that know, but all that to say is this: is that those lack of want to be able to give those teachers the professional development that they need so that they can provide quality education and help them progress the way they need to. You know, Nothing's worse than seeing a first year teacher. They got all this passion in the world, but they ain't got no talent. And they can't help it, right? They can't help it because someone didn't train them right. That's
Right.
a resource that schools need. That's a resource that schools need. I mean, I'm in a school where everybody's been teaching, 7, 8, 10, 15, 20 years. So that being the case, that's not something we need on a high enough level. Yeah, we still need solid professional development, opportunities to go places and learn new things, but we're not training first year teachers in my
Mm,
building. But there are buildings that got year twos, year threes, year fours. That's them some bad lottery numbers to have in a building when you're trying to close educational gaps.
that is a fact right there.
Yeah.
Love that. Tilted, any questions, any comments? I know you enjoying the conversation.
I'm absolutely enjoying the conversation. I'm over here taking notes, catching up on email. You know how we do as educators, we have the ability to multitask in small spaces.
No, I
I just want to
appreciate you.
take this opportunity, since I'm talking again, go ahead and acknowledge the people who have popped up in our comment section on tonight. We have, what is this? JJ Leach, 125. Erica Colazzo, 8469. I see y'all keeping it lit in the comment streets on
Oh, wow,
tonight. You've even
I
made
know
it
those
to
people.
the screen with your
That's funny. I know those
Are
people.
those some of your cohorts?
I know those people. I'm focused in, and it's funny.
Love it. Love it. Love
Well,
it.
they're here for you tonight, brother. They are here for you tonight. And I want to say thank you again to everyone in the comment streets. Our mentor, dream coach extraordinaire, Rasheen OG Kilo Pugh, popped through on this evening. And to those of you who are hanging out with us tonight, I know I've ingested many nuggets. And even as I've been sitting here listening to the conversation and the things that you're sharing, Dr. Giani, I'm going down memory lane, and coming up with my own stories to match the scenarios that you're sharing from what you're living every day, and to the scenarios that you're sharing there in the book. Baby, one thing that really stood out to me is, holding a child as they fall apart after learning that the only person in the world they believe cared about them had passed on. And I was mad because, why would you call the school and tell a special needs child this in the middle of his day and expect his day to go well? So imagine what that is, to embrace a child when they feel like they're losing their everything. So thank you for sharing your testimony. Yeah, Connie, been there.
Yeah. It's
And
I have had to. Can I tell a quick story? I'll go quick. I
yes, you
promise.
most certainly may.
Okay, I'll go quick. So I had a young lady who thoroughly liked this boy in her neighborhood, and I told her, you need to take it slow. And we would talk often because I was operating very much so like her school father. And she said, well, I really like him. He treats me like a lady, and I really love it. He plays basketball in my neighborhood and everything else. And I said, listen, I get it. And I see you really like this boy a lot, but whatever you do, you make sure that you take it really slow. So more and more, she would talk about him, about how he was very close with his father and close with his mother, and that they went to a school on the other side. He went to a school on the other side of the city, and he was very much so a gentleman, bought her things from the store, and never tried to be fresh with her or anything else. And I'm using the old school term fresh. That's hilarious. But overall, I said, you know what, I really like this guy, and I think this guy is a good fit for you. But whatever you do, you better make sure that you just take it slow, okay? And so she got her hair done, and I'm like, all right, she's like, I think today's the day that we're gonna make it official, and I'm about to be, his girlfriend and everything else. I said, oh, this is amazing. I love hearing this. And sure enough, the next day I came there and I was ready to hear, everything that happened. As a kid say, I was ready to hear all the tea, right? And I saw her best friend. Her best friend just looked really sad. And man, oof, got kind of caught me there for a second. Friend looked really, really sad. And I said, what's going on? Where's, insert girl's name here. She said, I don't want to tell you. I'm just gonna let her tell you about what happened. So I'm thinking he didn't, try to be fresh with her, hit her, something else. So I'm already on one. And she comes in the room, during lunch, during the time we usually would talk. And she said, I need to tell you something in private about what happened. I said, okay. So she tells me that when she goes to finally meet the boy's parents, that she was so excited to meet the mom, but when she met the father, she realized that the father was her father. I'm going to slow that down for people that may have missed that. That the father was her father. That she had no idea that her father lived in the neighborhood, wasn't taking care of her as a daughter, but was literally a perfect father to the boy that she liked. And she had no idea that she had a brother. And that destroyed her. That destroyed her. And I mean, of course, I keep up with her to this day. She was like, the best thing about it is that I found a brother and we have a great relationship. And she says, to this day, I'm really glad you gave me that advice to just take it slow. Who knows what could have happened? Who knows what have happened that day if they went faster than the car could drive? Think about the nightmare. Think about the horror of that. And those family ties inside of the school communities are so weird. Hell, I'll tell you one to make it a little bit lighter to make you laugh. I had this one girl want to fight another girl because she was mad that the other girl's mama stole her mama boyfriend.
Oh my goodness!
But they sisters.
You took my mama man.
But they sisters.
Yes.
But they sisters. Carry the one.
You heard me. I was just thinking, carry the one. What?
No man. Okay.
So we literally are breaking up a whole fight between sisters because the one sister is mad at the other sister because her mama stole my mama man, and it make my mama cry at night. And because I can't whoop the mama, I'm gonna try and whoop you. So now we got a Royal Rumble in front of the school.
Oh my goodness!
Listen,
I tell you because I told you I was listening to the audiobook, right? I didn't tell you when I was listening to the audiobook when I heard the story about the sister and the brother. So everybody in the store while I was shopping didn't know what happened when I was like, what? Wait a minute.
You was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm listening to something. I'm listening.
Yeah. That was something that I don't know if there was a segue for. Because I don't know, and I'm with you as you're telling the story in the audiobook, and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, we knew something was gonna go wrong. That
right.
wasn't on my list. Okay. That I'm trying to date my brother.
But didn't know.
I didn't know. And this young man is being raised, right? Clearly to treat women maybe in a different way. I don't know what the parents' relationship was, but
right.
Like he had a good head on his shoulders, was doing the right things in all of the areas. And just the wonder of daddy need to take a lesson. I'm just gonna tell you while I was reading, the people in aisle 7 may or may not have been like, oh, the cops, what's going on? What? So
yeah. Yeah, it's those are moments, and like I said, inside the book, they're just moments that in the years of teaching that live in my head rent free. Like there's just things that go, man, I can't believe this happened, or I'm now got to, and one of my favorite coworkers, and actually just turned into one of my really good friends. We laugh all the time, and I remember we were at a conference in Philadelphia, and I literally told him, "Hey, bro, I just feel like I've seen too much." Like, like I've literally seen too much, and we both start laughing. He said, "I feel like I seen too much too," and that's kind of what it boils down to. Like I hell, I remember a moment where a woman ran into the building with footy pajamas to confront a boy. I've had to break up a knife fight between two parents. Like I've seen I've seen too much. I've literally seen too much. And I almost feel like let me tell one more story and sell this book. And I'm telling you right now, the stories that I'm telling are not even the best
Are real.
stories in the book. Like these ain't even the best stories in the book. So I'll go one more. Is that okay if I go one more?
One more,
I'll go
yes.
I'll go one more, and I'll be quick. So if you all are familiar with safe passage, right? Safe passage is a big deal because we want to make sure that kids are able to get home safely after the school day. In fact, this is probably the reason why I don't do safe passage now. So because I'm traumatized from safe passage. Okay. So one day, I'm doing safe passage. I'm waving, kids give me dap. All right, doc, see you later. Everything's good. And sure enough, this raggedy minivan pulls up. You know the type of car where you hear the engine before you see the car.
Oh my God.
Don't laugh at that. But you know what I'm talking about. You hear the engine before you see the car. So anyway, the minivan pulls up in the center. Now, mind you, I'm going to do my hands like this because one part is where the middle school is, and the other part is where the high school is. Okay, so they pull in the middle. And clearly, I know that this is a middle school parent and I know they're breaking protocol. But this woman gets out the car and she waits for her child to come down from the middle school side because there's clearly some type of tension, but I'm gonna let it play out because it's assumed best intentions, right? So anyway, all that to say is that sure enough, the mother's chastising the daughter, chastising the daughter, chastising the daughter, and finally the little daughter helplessly she points up at these middle school girls. Now I'm going to be really PC here and respectful. These were bigger girls. Okay, these are three of probably the biggest girls on our high school side. All right, so she's called them everything but a child of God and cussing these girls out. So now the girls are heading downhill on this woman that's every bit of 5 foot nothing, and they're looking like they got some bad intentions. So I dart across the street and I run across and I try to stop these girls. Okay, and I stop them. And what happened, what I learned is that the mother accused those three girls of bullying her daughter. And the three girls are like, we don't even know this little girl. Why would she lie on us? Da 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 da. And I can see that they're sincere, that they don't understand why this little girl has decided to pick them out the crowd. And I'm like, remember what I said? Adults don't always say the right things. And I got them calmed down. I got them calmed down and they get ready to let it go. They're like, you right, Dr. Clarkson, we sorry. And everything is fine. Nikita, I'm telling you, everything is fine, okay?
That's what you
I need
think.
to, I need
I'm
to, I need
waiting.
to, I need to edit this correctly because I want to make sure this shows up in the B-roll. This is my producer mind working, okay? So sure, because Karen knows what happens next. So sure as this mother says, that's why y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of fat bees. And y'all, part of your body stank. This one girl, she reached her hand. She she reached her hand somewhere maybe down the Florida Pan Coast, okay? They're doing the Florida Panhandle. She brought that hand all the way up 95, made a little left turn by Atlanta, saw a game or two, went through the Carolinas, the home of original Krispy Kremes, and then all of a sudden that hand went up to Maryland and smacked this woman so hard. I repeat that she spun like a top. So now that this woman is spinning like a top, okay, these girls, one of these, because I once again, I'm if you don't know it, but I'm not really tall. Okay. So, I'm every bit of 5'6",
I
5'7"
gotta go on mute.
on a good day. This one girl pulls a spin move on me and spins me out the way. And they tackle this woman and they start punching her lights out. And I want to be very clear this motion I'm giving you, okay? So as they punching this woman out, now I'm Nikki, stop laughing now. This is serious. So so as they punching this woman out. I now have to remember one of my really good friends broke up a fight between some girls, and in the midst of it, he broke up the fight between the girl, and he broke the girl's wrist. And now the family is, has legal suits against my friend. So I'm thinking, or my frat brother, I should say. So now I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to break up this fight, but this woman is getting the crap beat out of her. What do I do? Luckily, some women I work with jumped into the fight, and I went, okay, now I'll jump in the fight and I'll help pull the girls off. So when I finally get the girls off of them, the girls are super emotional, and I get them across the street. The mother get up, and you remember that episode? You remember that episode of Tommy? I remember the episode of Martin when Thomas the Hitman Hearns beat him up, and he had all knots on the side of his head. So she get up the grass talking about y'all let them girls beat me up. I'm looking at her like, ma'am, didn't nobody tell you to get out this raggedy minivan and pick a fight with the defensive line for the Baltimore Ravens? Ain't nobody tell you to do that. Ain't nobody tell you to do that. You could have stayed in your car and been safe, and we could mediate. And now look at you. You done ate a whole patch of grass, hair all messed up. Now got rocks all in your earlobes. What am I supposed to do with that? And this happened in front of your daughter. How you gonna explain that? Talking about go clean your room, knowing that she can call these three girls and whoop you anytime she want to. So anyway, let me get back to the programming, right? So after I didn't calm these girls down, this woman stumbles back to the front of her car, opens up the driver door. And when she opens up the driver door, I went, oh no. I didn't watch enough Boys in the Hood. This how this gonna happen to Kid Ray. Oh, they're gonna get Kid Ray. They're gonna get Kid Dynamite. She reaches down in the door spot of the driver's side door, and what she pulled out? She pulled out the most Game of Thrones looking hammer I've ever seen in my entire life. I think this hammer was made out of pure dragon. And she come running across the street. Ah! I'm like, hey, you ain't gonna about to hammer dragon.
That's a dragon hammer. Wait,
you ain't about to hammer these kids.
This where everything went to the left. What happened?
You ain't about to hammer these kids with this dang on dragon hammer you ain't got from season 2 for Game of Thrones. Put your silly ass back in this car. So anyway, the woman drives off and is like, oh, I can't believe y'all let them girls beat me up. So I'm sorry, I skipped a part. So as I'm walking her back to the car with her Game of Thrones hammer, this old man comes out of the passenger side of the van and goes, that's right, girl. It's okay. You just get back in the car. And I said, now, hold on now. You sat here and watched her get out the car, watched her get whooped. I mean, a good old whooping, like a dang old Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck. You know, where the dust be piling out, you see legs and feet. Like, it was that type of whooping, right? And now you want to come out and help? You get your ass back in the car too.
With the word of wisdom. It's all right. Get back in the car. Like, shouldn't that have been the statement from the beginning?
Soon as them girls came down them stairs, you should have jumped out that car. Go, hey now, sister, just not like this. But yeah, it's a good book.
It is a good book with some amazing stories. Listen, y'all go and cop the copies.
Go check it out. It's a good book. I promise. I'm a good time.
Check on the website. The hoodie is available. We got books.
The hoodie's available. Come on and grab the hoodie too.
We got all the things. All right, Dr. Giani Clarkson, can you tell our audience how outside of the website other ways that they can get in contact with you, and the best way to get books, or either contact you for speaking engagements as well?
Oh, that's not a problem. So you can follow me at Dr. Clarkson Loves History on IG. And also you can go to GianiClarkson.com, the website. On that website, you of course can get an autographed copy of Teach, Pray, Drink, along with this wonderful hoodie that I have on. One of my passions, of course, is community service. The money that I do collect, partial proceeds, are going to a charity that I'm really connected with called Loaves and Fishes, which helps closes food gaps for homeless and displaced citizens inside of DC. I work hand in hand with the Omicron Lambda Alpha chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the alumni chapter I'm part of, though I crossed at Dillard University at Beta Phi undergrad. So what we do, we realize that there's food gaps that are happening, and we want to be able to close those gaps, providing healthy, nutritious meals to those families that have fallen on hard times. I say this, and I'm going to be very quick here, is that sometimes when you fall on hard times, you don't think you have the right of choice anymore. But I love the fact that the nonprofit that we offer some really great meals with a great variety, so that we make sure that though you may have a hard time, that you're maintaining your dignity, because that's important as well. So GianiClarkson.com. You can also go to at Dr. Clarkson Destroys History. There's some really great lessons about history in a minute, and a series that I've done before, an award-winning series called Hip Hop and Kwanzaa. So you can check that out as well too. So that's all that's there. I think I did everything well.
You did. Well, we are super excited. Thank you for your yes. Thank you for the amazing energy.
No, not a problem.
Right. Our replay viewers, if y'all just jumping on now, go ahead on. We'll be done in a few minutes, and press play because y'all do not want to miss the shenanigans that have gone on with all of the goodness. Tilted, I'm trying to give you time to catch your breath before
to get myself together. Yeah. I'm trying to get myself together because I'm over here crying. Like, so it's a whole joy tsunami.
I love it.
It's a whole joy tsunami. And I'm here for all of the laughs, all of the shenanigans. And baby, we could trade stories. I promise you. We could trade stories, because I love it. With the monkey flip off the wall and kept fighting. But anyway, we got to transition the show, because listen, we got to transition the show, because after all of this laughter and after all of this genuine care and concern for our student population across the country as well as worldwide, I'm sure somebody is going to listen and be encouraged to continue to go another day in that classroom, Dr. Giani. So thank you so much for everything you shared.
Thank you so much.
Published in this book. Listen, I'm sure, educators in the audience, get it. Go and get that. Go and get you a shirt, because it's going to be a reminder, a tangible reminder for you to think, pray, and every now and again, happy hour. Go and get you a drink.
Go and get you a drink. Thank you both so much. Truly humble for y'all sharing this space. All right. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
You too. Blessings. So check it out. We got to get into this weekly dose of soul nourishment. After I have laughed myself to tears, my nose running, I might have to just, throw the logo up so I can go get me some tissue. So I'm not be all on the screen. That's not professional. So I want you all to get ready to receive another on-time ready word of encouragement from our very own in-house certified master life coach. She goals, success, all of it, girl. Coach Cash herself with this week's reflection of purpose. Coach Cash, take it away, sis.
Listen, I'm taking it away. I'm grateful for the opportunity to give you a moment again. Such an amazing show. As always, I come to you all with the title, and the title of today's Reflections of Purpose is "It's Already Tomorrow Somewhere." It's already tomorrow somewhere. Here's one of the pieces of recollection. Story time. It's Sunday. I'm minding my business. I done already had a conversation with the bestie. How we doing? Y'all got snow. We don't. It's cold. I get an email telling me, listen, we need some work done today because it's already tomorrow in Seoul, Korea. Now, y'all know I work for a different employer now, meaning I'm literally worldwide. So I got to have a different type of time clock than most other people who might be, maybe you on Pacific time, maybe you on Mountain time, maybe you on Eastern Standard Time. Many of you are. Maybe y'all on just your own colored people time, but that is not the point. The point is that the reminder was many of us get so focus on where we are and only see the vision from where we're sitting, right? Not even thinking that it's already tomorrow somewhere. Now, I need you to know this was 12 o'clock I think it was 11:30 on Sunday morning when I got the call and they were telling me, listen, they're 14 hours ahead of us. It's already Monday there. Close today because today, that day was the 15th for them. So right now it's about to be the 17th for them. Already tomorrow somewhere. Why is this important? This is important because you done already heard my bestie tell you that I am a goal success coach, right? Because I'm focused on that. That means the reminder is the time is clicking faster than you think. Many of us are thinking in our mind, oh, I'm going to plan for it. I'm going to have all of this time. But honey, one thing we've seen more of in 2025 than I want to say almost ever before is the rest in peace. And this week we had some doozies that came through with the rest in peace. And we don't want to sit in the seat of regret. I don't want you to be thinking about your final days as if it's like, oh, doom and gloom. But what do you want the world to speak of you when you are gone? You get to create the blueprint for your legacy right now today. So I want to remind you, stop wasting time. Stop with the procrastination. You know what me and my bestie going to do after we get off this show? I ain't going to tell you. Anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit of snippet though. We're going to talk about what's next for our calendars because that's what we do, right? We come here because these are real productions that we have. We have production meetings. We talk about the run of show, but about the aspirations and the goals that we have set for the next quarter, right? We already in 2026. So I know this is not a surprise to the bestie to hear me say it's already tomorrow somewhere because we all have been talking about tomorrow being today for years now, right? For years, it's like, okay, we're 6 months ahead. We're 3 months ahead. However much time you are ahead, the time is ticking. Now you got to be serious about knowing it's already tomorrow somewhere. So for those of you who keep saying, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to treat myself better tomorrow. I'm going to start to diet. We don't care what you eat over here. Just stay alive, right? Don't choke on nothing. That's really the premise of all of this. But whatever the thing that you've put in your personal internal calendar to say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, today's reminder, get it done. It's already tomorrow somewhere right now. We don't got the time to waste. We don't have the time to play games. We don't have time to play in our own face, right? We talk about other people playing in our face. Don't play in your own face. Get in that mirror and tell yourself, declare the things that you will do. In 2026, we will release a book together. In 2026, we both will have separate writing things that we're doing. In 2026, we both will have separate speaking engagements that we'll have. In 2026, y'all gonna get the coloring books, you're gonna get the retreats. Why am I saying this? It's not because we ain't scared. We ain't never scared, but we also know it's already tomorrow somewhere. So we got to speak these things. Check for your save the date because it's coming. We done already put it out there. So now you know what we not liars. We remain women and queenagers of our word. And so what you speak shapes your entire world. Speak well of yourself, y'all. It's already tomorrow somewhere. Tilted, back at you.
All right. Oops, excuse me. I still got some of that laughter juice in my throat. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. It was a deep laugh.
That was a whole cackle. That was a freeing cackle. And a freeing word. So yes, it is already tomorrow somewhere. So check it out. We at the end of the show, and I got to say something about allowing yourselves to just be.
All
So
right,
listen,
Matt.
we're gonna do a little something different because we can ready to take a brief hiatus, ain't it, Karen?
We are.
We are swiftly approaching the holiday season, and as you already said it, Bestie, listen, it's already tomorrow somewhere. In my mind, I'm already at the end of March. So some of those things that have been spoken are already coming to pass. I say thank you, God, that the calendar is already filling up. So check it out. In this moment, as we take this time to close out the show today, I'm going to ask you all to do something with me. Take a deep breath. Let that yawn out. All right. Take that deep breath in. And I want you to remember as you're breathing in and breathing out slowly, releasing the energy from your day, that there's nothing that you need to prove, fix, or rush. You are already enough in this moment. Keep breathing, y'all. Life isn't asking you to become more, it's inviting you to just be. So be present, be honest, and be kind to yourself. Trust that what's meant for you is aligning, even when you can't see it yet. Keep showing up, keep listening to your inner voice. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and above all, just be. It's your girl Tilted Halo, sitting alongside Coach Cash, Karen Sims Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC. We are Unhinged Live. We're going to let y'all know when we coming back, but we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. That's all y'all getting from me because, again, I got the laughter throat.
And a happy new year. Whoop, 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 whoop.
She brought the Temptation version out, y'all. Until next time, we out. Peace.